Welcome everyone to Meridians and Movement. I'm really excited to share this class with you today. I've offered this class several times and people always get wonderful ahas. For some of you that might not know me, my name's Tracy Rickard. I'm an instructor here at Guru. I teach Friday chakra yoga, as well as you might find me covering different teachers' classes as well. So I've been a yoga instructor for 16 years. I can't believe it. I've been a licensed massage therapist for 20. I hit the two-decade mark, as well as I'm a trauma-informed life coach and a hormone health coach for women. I've been those for about 15 years. So my passion is really to support women. Now I've gone more on the deeper soul journey. I think I started from the outside in. So when I got curious about yoga and massage, I was like fascinated by the human body and everything that it could take. In my journey, the last 2 decades, I think my work has moved inward. So I'm more of a trauma-informed therapist now, not therapist, my trauma-informed massage therapist, I'm not a therapist, as well as all of the different things that I offer, helping women to truly transform their trauma into their purpose. So often stress, different things that have held us back in our lives, mask our true identities. And as women, I support generally from like their mid-30s to their mid-60s, when we are trying to find who we are. As the kids grow up, as they leave, as we as women, our hormones transform, we'll use that word. We also move into that more wise woman age. And when we're tapping more into our wisdom, it sometimes can be uncertain, is this my true wisdom? Is this a message? And we can sometimes question. So I help support women one-on-one and in group work as well. I say co-regulation is really important when you're doing deep work, doing it together. So today we're going to co-regulate a lot around the Chinese meridians and how you can actually blend them into your yoga practice. So I'm really excited to have you here. If you have questions throughout the day, I'm going to probably leave Q&As. We're going to have a break. But if it's something immediate, just feel free to raise your hand. I'm more than happy to answer questions as well. And then you have the back of your paper if you need to write notes. And then I have extra paper if anybody ends up writing away and you need extra paper. So we're gonna first be in more of like a lecture setting for the beginning part so we can review and go over. We'll go on a break and then we'll do more of the movement-based part as well. Does everybody have a pen and they have their clipboard? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even hear it. There you go. Great, so we're gonna first go over the 5 elements and I'm gonna explore with you what these are, what they mean, and then we're gonna get to see you revealed as what element your quiz offered you. So the 5 elements in Chinese medicine are metal, which is white. I say sometimes it's like a lighter gray or a different color, like a lighter toned color. Earth, which is yellow, fire, red, water is blue, and wood is green. Now, in Chinese medicine, these element types have different areas where they sit. So metal is focused more on the west. Earth, center, fire is south, north is water, and east is wood. Now, earth, they say, is the center because earth is the center of who we are. So earth tends to be right in the center space of this. So if you would think about a circle, with a compass, earth would be right in the middle. Now, there are seasons that these particular elements also link up with. And the season for metal is fall. And the cool thing about this is the foods, so the tastes really do also correspond with the particular season. So fall, as things are cooling down and as the body is moving to rest, it tends to adapt better to spicy foods. Earth is late summer in that different time of the year, and it's sweets, so more sweet kind of foods. Fire element is right in the robust part of summer. And bitter, and you think about like bitter foods are cooling to the body. Water is in winter, and salt, because salt helps to retain things. So the water element is winter and salt. And then the wood element is spring and sour foods. Soury foods tend to also help to detox. So think about like raw sauerkraut, for example, and they help to clean out the system. So it's really cool that the seasons really blend. And for many of you, this journey will be taken off of your mat today into your life, and you might realize, ooh, I want to start to practice more Chinese medicine. You can always research a lot of it, but I have noticed since I've immersed myself in it more these last several years that I tend to crave those foods during those times of season, but also when I'm imbalanced in one of them, I will crave those specific foods as well. And then the emotion that is associated with the 5 elements. Grief is associated with metal, worry with earth, joy with fire, fear with water, and anger with wood. So what that tends to mean is if you're resisting that emotion, that particular meridian element might be off. And we're going to go over the elements and how they correspond to the actual meridians. And I brought my acupressure chart here. Feel free, you can even take a picture, you can read a little bit more on it, and I'm going to be reading from that poster as well. So challenges that each of these face, you'll see there is metal challenges. People will face skin, so like breaking out, eczema, psoriasis, stuff like that. Respiratory issues, depression, or holds on to too much, like just can't let things go. Earth challenges are digestion, menstrual challenges for women, worry and anxiety. Fire challenges, high blood pressure, any heart issue, autoimmune issues, heartache, bad dreams and insomnia. Water challenges, osteoporosis, hearing, dark circles under your eyes, balding, kidney issues or restlessness. And wood challenges are migraines, any liver or gallbladder issues, tends to overwork or is easily irritated. Now, these particular challenges you're going to see, for example, we had earth challenges, digestion. So when we look at these elements, we actually get to sync them up with a particular meridian. So each element, besides fire, because fire's fancy, has 2 particular organs associated with it, and then there are the particular meridian lines. Now I like this poster because it's colored, so you can see what organ is associated with each and where that goes, because that's what we're going to do in our yoga practice, is we're going to stimulate and we're going to clear these with props and with some asana. So the 2 organs that are associated with metal is lung and large intestine. So if you see metal challenges, right, respiratory issues, those kind of things tend to then be associated with that particular element based on the organs that they are associated with. So the lung and the large intestine are up on the upper body, and each organ is associated with either yin or yang energy. So I'm going to go a little bit into that. Yin energy is going to be more inward energy, and it moves towards the heart. So the meridian energy, qi in Chinese medicine they call it, so we're going to get our qis and our pranas all going today, moves inward towards the heart. So that means when, say, you go to an acupuncturist or you get acupressure from a massage therapist, they would, to stimulate that meridian, they would be pumping that one towards the heart. So the yin meridian, lung, is going to be going towards the heart, that energy. The yang meridian, large intestine, goes away from the heart. Make sense? So yin and yang will balance each other out. Yin is more of that, contracting. You see here, it's the front of the body. It's more nighttime is more yin. Think about like yin yoga, same thing. It's just more subdued. Female is associated with yin, the feminine energy, and cold. Now, yang meridians are away from the heart. So first, starting with metal, we have large intestine moving away from the heart. It's more of the back of the body. Yang is because it's more energizing and expansive energy. It's that time during the day, not the night. And it's associated more with dryness, and it's more of the masculine energy. So we look at the yin and the yang, they really do balance each other out. Now, what can happen, especially say you go to like a Chinese medicine practitioner, they're going to help you to see maybe where yin and yang is off. A perfect example for this is with diet. If you are eating a lot of sweets, which are super yang, a lot of times your body will start craving salt because it's super yin. What can happen then is we just are constantly bouncing back and forth. Same thing with a yoga practice. If your body's really calling for more yin and restorative, but you're like, no, I gotta go to hot yoga every single day. I'm gonna do it. The body's eventually, it's going to say, I can't do this anymore, and it's gonna exhaust itself out. So we can go too far in one direction and too far in the other. So for example, with the diet, the best way to balance it out is leafy greens, because they're right in the middle of the yin and yang. So that's why I say in your yoga practice today, and if you notice in many practices, there is a yang element to yoga. It's more of the standing poses. It's more of the time when you're active, and there's more of the yin. I mean, we lay in Shavasana every single class mostly. So that's why the yoga practice really blends well with Chinese medicine, because it does blend yin and yang really well. So, yeah.
You said this salty is, which?
Salty is super constrictive.
Water.
So it's yin.
Yin.
Yin. So salt is yin, sugar is yang. They're very expansive. So moving on next to the earth element, the two organs associated with the earth element is spleen, and that is the yin, and stomach, that is the yang. Now these two are found on the lower part of the body, and we're gonna go over that a little bit more in our yoga practice, but you'll find those more on the lower part of the body. Now it does start, if you see here, it does start in the torso and upper part, but you tend to stimulate these two more on the legs. Now the fire element has 4 organs associated with it, but organs of sorts. And the reason being is heart is how we beat and it's life. And so there's a lot going on around the heart that in Chinese medicine, they dictated specific things with it differently. So you actually have 4 organs. The 2 yin organs is the heart itself. And then the pericardium, which is kind of like, I call it like what protects the heart. And then the 2 yang organs are small intestine, and what they call in Chinese medicine triple heater. It's like what heats the body up is the easiest way to explain it. You know, like with blood pressure, when we pump and the pumping of the body, I like to explain it that way. And those are the yang meridians. Now the heart and the pericardium, the small intestine, and the triple heater, because they're associated with the heart, most of them are on the upper part of the body. So you stimulate a lot of these meridians in the arms. And the easiest way to do this, and we're gonna obviously do it in our practice today, is the legs and the arms can be the easiest place to kind of stimulate these. And you can also like get bang for your buck. You can stimulate a bunch all at the same time. Now moving on to the water element, we have the yin meridian for that is kidney. And then the yang meridian is bladder. Bladder it's one of the longest meridians. It starts right here and it goes all the way up and around and down the back of the body to which toe? Pinky toe. So it is one of the longest meridians, and kidney is inside of the leg. So bladder can be stimulated in different ways. Like I, as a massage therapist, will stimulate bladder a lot by squeezing right here. This is an actual point that by stimulating this bladder point, you can help women go into labor. I've done it once. It was really cool. So it works. But some people also can stimulate bladder right here as well. But because it's such a long meridian, we're going to do a little more of the bladder on the legs today. And kidney is the more of the legs. Kidney starts up here, but the legs are the easiest place to pinpoint it. It's the best. And then lastly, we have the wood element, and the yin yin organ for this is liver, and gallbladder is yang. Now these are both found more, again, gallbladder is pretty long like bladder is, but I tend to work these on the lower part of the body as well. So that kind of gives you your handout and explanation of like where things are, what we're going to be paying attention to. If you want to get super nerdy, the poster here will actually give you specific points. Now there are 2 different front body, back body, straight down the middle that acupuncturists will work on, but we're not gonna do that today. So I don't wanna overwhelm you with too much. So we're gonna just go to the basic meridians today. Now, the way that we're gonna find balance, and I brought this, and you can also take a picture of this. There's one here as well, but all of these work together. So in Chinese medicine, if one is off, right, the others can have some different things that they have off as well. So in Chinese medicine, there is, I like to call it like rock, paper, scissors, right? It's like paper covers rock. It's kind of the same thing with Chinese medicine, is one element will always stimulate another element, and one element will always suppress another element. So this is going to be good for you with your type, because a lot of times you don't want to focus, say, we're going to go through whose type is what, so I want to keep it a secret, but my type, I don't want to always focus just on that. What is possibly suppressing it? Am I over, say for example, am I over firing things, and that my fire is overstimulated, which is suppressing my particular element? Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah. So also, if your element is feeling sluggish, in Chinese medicine, the meridians can be overactive, meaning the easiest way to say is they're going over the speed limit, and they can be underactive, they're going under the speed limit. We want them to go the speed limit. So we're gonna go through this. This, for some people, can be very confusing. So if it is, please, I like to say, take what works for you in this class, and what doesn't work for you, just leave it. You can also explore further. I'll be here for questions as well later on. And then also, like acupuncturists, if you've never had acupuncture, I highly recommend it, and they know all this stuff. So we're gonna start up with metal, since that was the first element we started with. Metal stimulates water. So the element of metal will keep water stimulated. So supporting water is important, but also making sure your metal isn't off will support water. So this is good depending on what your element type is. Now, metal also suppresses wood, meaning if metal is off, it's gonna mess up your wood. It suppresses that element. Gotcha so far? Moving on, we're gonna go to earth. Earth stimulates metal. And I'm gonna share with you after I go through this, we're gonna go in the actual circle of this, because if you think about this in the actual like planet Earth, is Earth allows us to build on it. It allows the metal, you can dig into the earth and create metal. There's metal in the earth, the elements of like crystals and all these things are within the earth. So it's really cool how they created all this. So earth stimulates metal, and then earth stimulates metal. Wood suppresses earth. So that's what I meant, building upon. So we put all these structures up where this studio is literally suppressing the earth. The wood we're built on suppresses the earth.
What does earth suppress?
Earth suppresses water. And I'm gonna go through it again. So metal stimulates water. Metal suppresses wood. I think I messed up because I told you about wood with earth. My apologies. So earth suppresses water and stimulates metal. My apologies. I went to the other one.
So earth suppresses water.
Yep.
Stimulates metal.
And it stimulates metal.
Okay.
Thank you for that. I messed up the arrows. Moving to fire next. Fire stimulates earth. And fire suppresses metal. Think about it. Fire can melt metal. Moving on to water. Water stimulates wood. And water suppresses fire. You put water on fire, you put it out. And then lastly, wood stimulates fire. about a campfire. So wood stimulates fire, and this is where I messed up earlier. Wood suppresses earth.
So what does suppress water?
Yep, earth suppresses water. I jumped the gun on the wood, and then.
Does metal suppress anything?
Yep, metal suppresses wood. An axe cuts a piece of wood. So I'm gonna go through an analogy with this, which I think will be easier. And I'm gonna go first with the stimulating circle. So the circle is always what stimulates. What suppresses are the arrows in the middle. So if we think about a body of water, we're sitting on a body of water. The water can stimulate the wood. So water, think about if you put the wood in water, what does it do? Water goes into it, it fills up. And then wood is now filled with water. The trees, they absorb water. Wood then will be the stimulator for fire because you need the wood to start the fire. The fire can't happen unless you have the pieces of wood to start the fire. Fire stimulates earth. Think about a lot of these forest fires. What do? They go and they do control burns. Fire actually does stimulate earth energy. Things are sometimes meant to be burnt, to go into the earth, be composted, and then come back. I like to call the phoenix rising from the ashes is a perfect example. The phoenix had to burn, go into the ashes, and then rise, right? Now, earth stimulates metal because I had mentioned like with crystals and what's within the earth stimulates the growth of metal. And then metal stimulates water. So back to the analogy of how the water fills with the wood will like fill up with the water. Metal, we'll just use example of a tub. It doesn't go into the tub holds the water. Just like our glass, like metal, right here. Metal stimulates water. How can it work? Yay. So does this make sense to everyone? How it's like, it is a cycle of life in essence. And Chinese medicine's been around for centuries. So it's really cool that this is still like actually going on in history. It's pretty amazing. So the suppression, so when we think of these stimulation circle, that can be your key into maybe whatever element you have, how can I help support it? So every element has its partnership with another one. So even if you are wood or you're earth or you're metal, you're not just that, because something else needs to support you. Because again, without metal being the vessel for the water has no identity. It can't be in a vessel. It needs metal to support it, to actually do what it's meant to do.
So you should hang out with the person who stimulates you, is that what you're saying?
You can, yes. A lot of times people will naturally gravitate in relationships to someone that supports them. So this can be kind of in its own way as astrology, you know how astrology is all about relationships. It can be, our relationships can do that. My partner is definitely like a supporter, but also probably a suppressor sometimes too. They suppress us too, don't they? Sometimes too. Back and forth.
There is an astrology about this called Nine Star Key.
Oh, really?
And yeah, you have 3 numbers, your rising sign and all that, and you can see like what, yeah.
That's so cool.
What's it called?
9 Star Key, KI.
Right there.
Say again, Miranda.
So it's called 9 Star Key, KI, and it's the astrology behind the Chinese. It's the original astrology because it goes back before the other astrology. Yes.
That's cool. Thank you for that. So now we're going to go into the suppression cycles. These are definitely things that will be indicators for you when you're feeling off. And more than likely something is possibly suppressing. So water suppresses fire. Water will put the fire out, right? So sometimes if we're overwatering, our fire can never get stimulated. Now this can happen for somebody, and I bring this up because water and we're gonna go into the emotions, is associated with fear. When we're afraid of stuff all the time, we don't have the courage to try anything new. We're constantly sitting in fear. We don't have the ability to live and to experience what fire is, which is joy. When we live in so much fear, it's hard to experience joy. Does this make sense? Yeah.
Why, okay, so I'm looking at the emotions, so water's fear, wood is anger, joy's, I mean, what would be the downside for fire? Because I see like earth is worry, metal is grief. Joy's,
Well, yeah, that's why fire element has 4 organs associated with it. It's what pumps life into us.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know people that can be overjoyed. Like I could have as much joy as I want. That would be awesome, right? Yes, but that's why it's just such a stronger element, because it is what is our life force of sorts.
What you're saying is that the others have like seemingly negative things, like
Yes.
sorrow and grief,
Yes.
and then you've got,
Joy.
yeah.
But not
I think
necessarily.
You're jealous of us, is what it is.
In a way, all of these, without being able to process fear properly, we can never have joy
Or courage.
or courage. So all of these are meant to be felt just in the way that it's meant to be felt, not suppressing the particular emotions. Because we were built with these emotions for a reason. And that's why when it happens. So for example, with worry, with the earth element, Brene Brown talks a lot about this, if you've heard of her, where she said in this one moment, she had overwhelming amount of love for her baby sitting in the crib when she put him down to sleep. And in an instant, got so worried something was gonna happen to him because she loved him so much, right? So these emotions are constantly always flowing within us, but how do we relate to them is really where the journey occurs. We're gonna have worry, it's within us. We love many things, we care about things, worry's gonna come, but how do we relate to worry? All right, so water suppresses fire. Water puts the fire out. Fire suppresses metal. Without fire, we can't melt the metal. Now, if we're melting all of the metal, like, we lose the structure. So if we have too much fire in us, it will diminish structure within our lives.
Or change and remold, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, metal suppresses wood. The axe cuts the wood. If we're constantly cutting wood, we're losing the resources that we have. So if metal is constantly suppressing wood too much, our resources tend to get diminished. Wood suppresses earth, just like I explained. When you see it with building and knocking forests and trees down, it literally suppresses the earth to do what it's meant to do. It damages ecosystems and everything. And then finally, earth suppresses water. And that's obviously easy. Like, there's the land and then there's the water. Yeah. So does anybody have any questions or ahas or insights just around the stimulation and suppression cycles?
So with this whole stimulation and suppression, would you say, like, you might wanna, like, an element that stimulates you, you might want, you like hang around them or be around them, but of course you wouldn't wanna get overstimulated by that person.
Yes.
Just like you would maybe want that complementary element, but you wouldn't wanna be too suppressed by them. So small doses for anybody who stimulates or suppresses you?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, you gotta
It's
remember,
almost too much of a good thing, you know?
if it's starting to feel like it's too much, you're going over the speed limit. So you gotta slow down. So a lot of times if you're feeling like you're being overstimulated, you can also do the suppression element, but more than likely it's go back to home base Where do I need to like reground into my own element? And these cycles are really to see how you partner with other elements and how like everything really does, we're all connected in a way. The main focus is always your element type, but it's good to know the suppression and the stimulation cycle because they affect our lives. But if I say the one thing to leave with today is leave with your element type, see how you can explore that. And then this is kind of like icing on the cake if you want to explore like deeper into Chinese medicine. Does that make sense, everyone? Yeah, because this is like, can get overwhelming. It's like, oh geez, well, I'm this, so I need some earth stuff. It's like, just see like what element you are and how that all corresponds, right? Because then we can get neurotic and then we don't need that either.
That's so needs you, right?
Yeah, right?
And I'm like, who needs stimulation from me?
That's an insight right there.
Yeah.
Well, immediately it's like, I'm like, what sign is Brad? Do I suppress him?
So I want to go over the essential oils that I picked up there, and I'm going to kind of share with you what oils mean with the specific organs, because when we leave, you have like the foods that obviously are associated with each organ, but I find essential oils to be really beneficial too, to just enhance your practice. Anybody that picked eucalyptus or peppermint, those are the metal oils. Eucalyptus is associated with lung. Think about breathing eucalyptus in, it opens up your respiratory system. And large intestine is associated with peppermint. Peppermint soothes your gut, right? Spleen and stomach are the earth ones, and basil is for spleen. Basil is a very purifying oil. It can clear a lot out. And then stomach is associated with ginger, because ginger helps with belly aches, doesn't it? Now in the heart one, again, or the fire element, we have 4. So heart is associated with ylang ylang. Ylang ylang is the oil for grief and for heartache. Small intestine is rosemary. Rosemary, again, is a cleansing oil, clearing out. Pericardium, which is like our heart protector, is lavender, because the floral essence of lavender softens the heart. And triple heater, which gets everything pumping, is geranium. And geranium is really great too. It's really awesome for like dry scalp. It helps to like bring back vitality. It's good for women with hormone imbalance and stuff as well. Now, kidney and bladder are the 2 organs associated with water element. Kidney is tea tree. Tea tree is a very purifying oil. And then cinnamon is bladder. So cinnamon stimulates. It's a hot oil. It's very stimulating, but also it kills bacteria and stuff. So our bladder helps us to release, excrete, right? And then the wood element, the 2 organs, is liver and gallbladder. Liver is associated with lemon. Lemon is a detoxifier. Our liver detoxes. And gallbladder is associated with marjoram. So marjoram also, it helps to ease discomfort, but it can cleanse things out. It's it's like a muscle relaxer kind of oil as well. And our our gallbladder is, the partner to our liver, and they do different things together. So it's just, marjoram is a really great supporter kind of oil. Now, if you're interested in if you like herbs and teas and stuff, the best teas for metal, and this is something you could easily do. And also these are great teas to enjoy during seasons. So metal in the fall, peppermint tea is really great if you're interested in more herbs. The earth element, which is late summer, is ginger tea. is really great for earth element. The fire element, anything with lavender in it. So a lot of like sleepy time teas and different teas that are herbal blends will have lavender in the tea. I also think like lavender lemonade, if you ever had it, it's really good. And that's associated with fire element, which is summer. So like lavender lemonade is a really great summer drink. The water element is chai tea. Is really great for the water element. Yeah. And then lemon tea or lemon water would be for wood.
Okay.